We are back, folks. It's your boy Steve with none other than the one, the only Kevin Avery. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, doing pretty good. We had that ticker INTS, I believe it was, that just popped up randomly. INSP.
INSP.
That got me a little green on the day. So thankful for that. That was a $70 ticker INSP. But yeah, all in all, it was a good day. Ultimately, ended up green, and it looked like chat did real well too. There were 61 votes over there. It was only like 20% that were red. Most were flat or green. So it ended up being a good day. What about you?
Nice, good stuff. Well, me being a swing trader, never fun when you have a market wide kind of flush out. So I'm red on the day. I did monetize a lot of my calls yesterday. I didn't hedge enough, and I mentioned on stream I'm hedging because I'm bullish. I'm hedging so that if I'm wrong, I will lose money. It'll just make it a little bit easier to spend. So you know what? I could bear it. We drew down. We found a bottom on some of my favorite names, stuff like FCX, AA. EWZ. I made a bit of a purchase in Ethereum as well. So I deployed some cash. All those buys are working. I think we're going to be okay. But it never feels good. It never feels good on a big red day when most of your stuff gets beat at the same time.
Deploying the troops, I hear. It looks like the troops are being deployed on some of these names like
Yes.
Duolingo already tanking right now. DUOL. Joe posted a bunch of the tickers in chat. So, guys, let's be mindful of these earnings plays that are already rocking and rolling. So we have CoreWeave, which is showing some volatility. I don't see the numbers there yet, though. But yeah, Duolingo, right at 401, they announced their man. Duolingo's been on. It's been on such a downtrend. This thing is about to test $100,
Dude,
under 100.
I think it's a zero. I think it's a zero, to be completely honest with you. I'm not saying short it here. I think
Music, Steve, is still
20% is
on.
going to have some mean reversion, but
Is there
this is ugly.
is there music on? They're saying there's some music going on right now.
Is there music on? I apologize. Is there something playing on my side that I'm not hearing?
Is it worth? Yeah, I don't know. Whose side is it on?
I do have a billion tabs. Let me clear out some tabs. Make sure I don't hear anything on my side, guys.
Good tunes. He
Good
says good
tunes.
tunes. Maybe
What a
it's
donation.
drowning us out. I'll check my side too.
Okay, guys, I don't want to miss this CoreWeave. I think it's in 10 minutes, though. So that's the number one watch for me. Big implications on the data center space, CapEx spend, all of that good stuff. That's going to be a top watch as well as Rocket Lab. If we're still getting music, let me know. I will pop out for just a second and we can see if it's me or not. I'm not hearing anything on my side, though.
Okay. TT said no music.
Okay, all right. You guys are gaslighting me. Cool. Very cool, guys. Love you. Dell is another one to watch here. This one's coming out in 1 minute, so I want to keep an eye on Dell. Again, we're looking for a little bit of a hint on the hardware side of things if there's still that demand. I'm anticipating Dell to maybe not do so well. Apple maybe to be kind of eating their lunch, but we'll kind of see how that plays out. Rocket Lab as well. First move down, it was really ramping up into that, and that's a sketchy thing whenever you're getting that ramp. So we're going to be like taking a look. I can't imagine earnings are out yet. This one's coming out in 10 minutes. So I think this is just wild shake and bake before the actual print there.
Yeah. We can at Hair we can. I got UUUU up as well. Energy play looks like
That's an earnings play?
it looks like it's scheduled
What?
for
I missed it. I
February
own that
10th.
one. Okay, Dell, big move up on the first move here. That looks like a beat to me. So we're going to be looking for that real quick. By the way, Duolingo was a double beat. We'll get back to those numbers in just a second. That's the worst double beat I ever saw.
Yeah, it's a beat. It is a double beating.
Yeah, double
Take the
beating, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I remember
Double
like
beating there.
20 years ago using Duolingo for like one day trying to learn Spanish and then cut it off. Looks like
Yeah,
everybody
well,
else is doing the
just like
same thing.
everybody else. So
Yeah.
I'm still not seeing Dell numbers, but that was a big shake and bake, and they are supposed to be released then. So I'm going to keep updating my feed until I get those for you there. Rocket Lab. Okay, now it's starting to cook to the upside. That's a beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
shake and bake there. And why you gotta just make sure you're not buying the top of a range because you'll often get a chance right deep in the range before the real move. You don't want to get shaken out now. So Dell,
Dell.
okay, I got those numbers there. Looks like a double beat. Earnings per share up beat by 11%. Expected was 3.51. We got 3.89 there. Revenue, we got a 6% beat there, 33.3 compared to the expected 31.6. So that's a 45% increase on EPS year over year, 40% year over year increase in revenue. And you know what? Market doesn't seem to care. They're beating it back on down from that 130. So the 130 handle clearly has sellers. If we're going to negotiate, we're going to have to get past that. And to me, that's not what you want to see, a big wick down like that. Duolingo, no juice over that 100 handle.
XYZ right now getting some attention too. XYZ just posted.
All right, bringing that up. XYZ, the dog of fintech, actually looking green. We'll see if it holds it or if the shorts step back in and hammer it like we're seeing on a lot of names. Dell creeping back up. Just watch the 130. That was where the big seller stepped in. You like to see the buyer stepping back in before then, but it's just about that level for me. CoreWeave, those numbers may have came out because that thing is trading at 92, down from 95. That is a 5% drop there. Trying to maintain, but it's looking heavy. So I'm going to look for those numbers as well. CoreWeave's really, we want to see the strength there for the market to do well in these earnings, in these data center plays to catch. We also have Intuit numbers out. That's a double beat, and they look heavy as well. This is not what you want to see post NVIDIA earnings, and that may have set the tone for just the grim reaper on some of these stocks. So Intuit was a 13% beat on earnings per share, coming in at 4.15 compared to the estimate of 3.68. Revenue, a 3% beat, basically in line there, just eking out over the 4.53 billion expected with 4.65. So 25% year over year increase on EPS and 17 on revenue. Dell back up through the 130. This one's hard to read for me, but I love that it's pushing higher. Same thing with XYZ there as well, getting a surge. Okay, have you seen any XYZ numbers?
No, I didn't see them. It said they posted them, but yeah, I'm not getting them quite yet.
Just making sure I didn't miss. We also have
So
Zscaler.
they're holding a conference call XYZ at 5 Eastern time today to discuss these results.
Ominous. All right. Well, yeah, looks like a good result so far. Let's see if it ends up giving it back on some weird news or if it can keep the ball rolling. Zscaler, we have a double beat here. So let's see. Looks like a 798 million estimate in revenue. They came in at 815. Small beat there. Looks like 90% EPS was adjusted EPS was the estimate and came in at 101. So a little 10% beat there. We will see if that is enough to get any real movement on it. Right now, it is just pinned, maybe cooking upwards. So we'll see if it can get going. Nice bottom wick so far. So I'd be more inclined to be bullish than bearish on Zscaler based on that reaction. CoreWeave, I believe 90 is a level of interest on the higher time frame chart. So I want to see what it does there as well. And Rocket Lab taking a header again. This one's a wild mover. See if those numbers came out.
Yeah, Rocket Lab, that one out of all of them, RKLB, according to like prediction markets, had just the highest chance that people were completely betting, Steve, on this one. 80% plus odds of it beating earnings. Just strong confidence in RKLB.
Okay, well, they did beat. We had an estimate of minus 10 cents per share. They beat by their actual numbers are minus 9 cents a share. Revenue came in at 179 million, just beating the estimate of 178 million. So no real new data here for Rocket Lab, at least in that print. We'll see if there's anything notable in the earnings call. But right now the market is flat. It looks like all of those calls got hedged, and this thing is just hanging out for now.
Mike been with her since $5. Loyalty, Mike. I love it. Good old loyalty.
And I got to shout out my boy MP Tosca. He's been in since 350. No, I didn't chase the 5, but gosh darn, I wish I did. So shout out the ASTS boys and the Rocket Lab boys in the house.
Rocket Lab shrinking losses while Mike is scaling launches. Expecting these. Yeah, I mean, just RKLB had one of the highest out of any other plays tonight. Just traders were anticipating just, because they've been shrinking the losses and growing as a company. Yeah, a lot of it is just guidance.
And I think like we've been talking about, it's been the tail of the tape, this expectations versus reality, and expectations very high for Rocket Lab, like you mentioned, and just the space sector in general. So
Yeah,
it's
we went
interesting to
over that.
see it's
Go
interesting to
for it.
see RDW miss and then get rewarded after on the follow-up day. And then we're seeing Rocket Lab with such high expectations in line.
And Duo lingo, just like you're saying,
Oh,
the double
my
beat
goodness.
and just the
Yeah.
tank. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
Brutality.
so exactly what you're saying, and guys, this was pretty much Steve's theme on the call-in show today, over at Trade the Pool. It was on, how to these earnings plays and how to trade them post earnings. We were discussing earnings in general, and a lot of it is, what is future guidance here? What are traders' expectations? 'Cause,
Mhm.
that matters more than the actual results themselves. Duolingo were a double beat, and they're getting crushed right now. They're getting crushed.
It's you're battling forces of nature, It's like when there's blood in the water and you can't get whatever metric the street is looking for to basically keep them in this trade, they can just puke them up, even if it
Mhm.
seems to maybe the uninitiated like not so bad of a result. Well, it's all about how many people are in pain right now. How many institutions are holding dead money thinking like, I have to justify this to my investors in 2 days, at the end of the month. And that's another thing. We have window dressing in effect here too. What are you going to be wanting to show your investors that you're holding through this chop? Is it Duolingo? No, get that out of here. I'd rather be down on the month than have to explain this in my port. So you can see a lot of that type of action too.
Yeah, Scott's mentioning NVDA going down due to CRWV.
Yeah, the
It's
guide is.
one of the most important partners and investors. And NVIDIA owns billions in CRWV shares. So,
Yeah, and Nvidia just couldn't get off the mat all day long, and it's kind of a sign. I was saying there's no such thing as a triple bottom, and that's kind of what it was looking like today. I thought maybe this was a chance, and then no, flushed that out too. Tried again, and now it's looking like it's dire straits here. Big top wick, and now trying to negotiate lower. It looks like CoreWeave is trying to hold, and we can see a snapback here if the buyers step back in. So let's see if there's a level of interest here on the CoreWeave 90 handle, because I remembered it being important to me, but I don't remember why.
right. MARA as well. Yeah, we seeing that after hours here. Stock slides ahead of Q4 earnings. Did they just release MARA? I'm looking for it.
And yeah, CoreWeave just got the yeehaw. It retested the breakout level. Price is not seen since 2 days ago, guys. It's the end of the world. Just keep things in perspective. They found a buyer there. So somebody said, hey, I probably sold
Hey,
up here and I'm just going to wait and see if it comes back. I'll just buy it again at 90. They're not sweating it. If they're not sweating it, should we be sweating it? I don't know. Let's see how this bid sustains and whether it's a mean reversion move or an actual potential buy up. So how I like to do this is I look at the fibs and see they always come back and do the dead cat to the 50%. And that's where the rubber hits the road. So we got the tag. Now we want to see if those sellers keep hammering it back down or not. You can see they're trying already. So you can catch some decent moves. That was a
man.
couple dollar
Mm.
move. If you see, okay, we came down once, found a buyer, came down, found a higher low. You could get in on the close with a target of the 50%, assuming we dead cat bounce. And then if you're really spicy, you could actually, put your buy order here, put your sell order here, double your sell order. So you actually flip short one there, one lot there, and you could potentially catch the move down if you're bearish and still have that kind of foothold. That being said, I kind of want to see this surge back on up. It's not looking like it's a hard rejection quite yet, but let's let it settle for a few minutes. I have a
Let
sneaking
the
suspicion
dust
CoreWeave might
settle.
not end too red.
Yeah, it's been a lot of the theme of the day, letting the dust settle. Mike, yeah, RXT. That was chart of the day, by the way. Mike, I put it in the Discord. If you're not in Trade the Pools Discord, join there. I posted that this morning. RXT, that was my chart of the day. And
Boom.
she beautiful, beautiful move. So Monster
Yes.
right now, hey, it looks like they double beat as well, Steve. And guess what?
Whoa.
Again, it's selling off here. So what's
I
going on? It's
Kevin,
about
I love
reacting to expectations versus reality.
I
Price
love
action.
this because Kevin, what have they been bidding up to keep SPY trading sideways while tech has been having a hard time? Well, these consumer staples, these plays that are boring but safe, and so they keep flooding into them until all of a sudden Walmart's basically trading at the same PE as Microsoft. What are we doing here, guys?
This
Any sign of that trend ending is a bullish thing. I think I love seeing Monster getting hammered here. I hope it sticks. I hope it goes lower.
Monster's daily trend is a monster. I mean,
It's
it's
disgusting, right?
been it's the Have you ever had a monster? You've had a monster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
So
used
so
to work
so do you
night
think are you
shifts, so
bearish? Oh, okay.
I can't be
So are you
bearish. I
bearish?
can't be bearish long term. That's the thing. I want to see it get hammered 20%, but I bet in 5 years it's going to be higher, you know. I got to show you guys on the this chart here with a little bit longer price action or price history because it is, like you said, a monster. It's that nominative determinism. It's called monster. It's going to do monster things. I call these unicorn charts. Unicorns, where they're just going to keep going higher and higher and higher and higher, very likely because they're basically just, it's a positive feedback loop. Kevin, is there anything in this world that makes you feel like you need less energy and less like less juice? I don't know. I think everybody's more stressed and pressed, and Monster's probably not going to be suffering.
Yeah,
Crazy,
yeah.
crazy chart.
I'm aligned. I'm aligned. But look, it's bouncing right off of its trend. Guys, if you look at Monster's daily trend, and that's why, look, you don't just trade this high volatility of earnings. What you got to do is understand the daily charts as well. Looking left, we look left to predict right. And so,
Absolutely.
fundamental analysis, technical analysis, trader analysis, these are all things that apply to formulate a good trading plan. And yes, you can. It is free. Heart versus mind. Our Discord moderator is in chat. He'll post that down there as well, to Trade the Pool Discord for you, so you can join that for free. But Mike, you can't drink energy drinks.
Mike, you are
Yeah,
the energy drink. What are you
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yes, that is true.
And I love that. And I love
This
it.
is true.
Great energy.
Monster right off the bottom trend, though, Steve. I mean,
Yes,
so
sir.
far is the lower shadow right on it. So let's just monitor it. This is key levels. That low 81s, those are key levels for Monster. We
And
want to
like you
see that
said,
hold.
just looking at the daily chart. So we had this range break, a really clean flag. Just it head bonked once, twice, three times. Remember, three is a gift, or three is the standard. Usually breaks through on three, but four is a gift. Comes back down the fourth time, pops through. So now what is it doing? It's retesting this level. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now it's decision time here in this rising 21 day moving average, which caught us once, twice, three times, four times, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 has been very clearly what they're buying off of ever since it gapped up and changed character. So that's going to be the tail of the tape there. Like you said, no coincidence. That's where buyers stepped in, and you got to be looking left. Good stuff there on Monster.
Yeah, we do
And
have. I like the name Darwin Trader. Yeah, does that mean you're always evolving as a trader? I kind of like that. We're always evolving as trader. That's where we're going.
I
Got to
like
run
that.
with it. That's your
Better,
tagline now, Darwin the Trader, always evolving.
better than longing biotech into binary events like me and catching a financial Darwinism award there. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? Well,
Yeah.
okay. All right. I can't be too mad. I can't be too mad. I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, the board determines Paramount, Skydance's revised, yada yada yada. A lot of so essentially, yeah, it's you're on it. Warner Warner News there.
Okay. Wait, so let's see. I should know I should care about this. I just recently found out that my dad inherited an account with a whole bunch of Warner Brothers shares. So I should be monitoring this situation. It seems
and
like chart's still
and
holding.
Mara, for those that were trading MARA at 415, they announced a strategic. So insiders were
Whoa.
buying this thing before the news even hit. So they announced a strategic partnership with Starwood to accelerate delivery of cutting edge hyperscale. What
Okay, so they're
congressmen or
finally
women
leaning
were
into the
trading this
data
before that
center.
came out?
They were one of the last to lean into the data center narrative. By the way, Dell is cooking on up. They reclaimed that 130 level I was watching really beautifully there, and I think Dell is going to stick the move. I think that's one of
Man,
the ones here that's gonna survive. Mara, oh wow, marathon there, powerful move into the 950 handle with this one. Very very heavy options activity, so you got to watch for price reaction. More so in cash session, but also after hours at these round numbers, the 950s, the 10s, especially the 10, 11, 12, that kind of thing. I noticed that they just really play by numbers, so to speak, level to level. Hmm.
okay.
Let's see what else is on
Dell
there.
Dell approaching highs right now.
Yeah, there it
Beat
goes,
Rev.
smashing it.
Yeah, so
And
the COO says that AI is transforming their company. They're trading higher after reporting better guidance, better than expected earnings, and the company issued guidance above estimates. So
nice.
Dell is very bullish right now.
Keeping an eye on Rocket Lab too. I have a sneaking suspicion Rocket Lab is going to resolve upwards here. I think that it might be ready to start an uptrend here. It might take a day or two, but I'm seeing a sweep out on the high side of the book, a sweep out on the low side. I don't think they pay out options too heavily, so I wouldn't expect a major move after hours here. But it's just not looking like it's going to fall to me for some reason. I just
It's
got that.
really
Got that tingle.
respecting that. It's got some really nice 69. 69 is just a great level support traders right on that. But if you do look left, RKLB, the 69 to 70, very good support. And it is respecting that so far. Respecting that.
Oh, talking Wolf. Is Wolf reporting too? There's so many names. I have a few Wolf shares that I bought on stream a few days ago. Am I going to be punished? Let's
Mike,
find
the
out.
last time we talked, you were stuck in LW all day. Now you were stuck in AHL halts.
Mike, we got to talk. No. Hey, we call those
Josh would not
misses.
approve. Yeah, he would. Josh would not approve of the word stuck because AEHL, you could have gotten out of that one. That one wasn't just halted all day.
Josh is
XYZ highs. XYZ
XYZ
highs.
highs. Man, okay.
Yeah.
So interesting one sticking moves today. Not what I would expect. That was not on my 2026 bingo card. XYZ ever going up. It's such a not a great mover. Meanwhile, CoreWeave, it looks like I might be wrong. We'll see if we can carve out a higher low here. But so far, it was a dead cat up to that 50%, and that's just the head bonk. So that's always the easy money, right? The easy money is to play the you can either try to scalp it up here or you can short it off the dead cat if you think that this is a bearish result and it's just a little bit of a fake move up. So we'll see. We'll see if that sticks there. Meanwhile, NVIDIA is not falling. It's not rising either. It's still holding. Barely.
Okay, we got another Autodesk
Autodesk.
software play. Yeah, that play just came out with earnings. ADSK. So they're at highs right now in after hours. Yeah.
250 is a big level for them. I'm going to pull up a higher time frame chart of Autodesk because I believe, has been a very slow mover for quite a while. Just grinding. And this looks like it's a potential end of a move to me. I do not like this big old trend line break. To me, this looks like a big old bear flag into a big old double top. So any push up here like we're seeing into the 250, honestly, long term, this could be you could wait for it to get to like 270 and potentially short it here. I don't know. I'm not so convinced that this one, well, heck, I mean, just turned the corner and then smashed earnings. So I think I look for the gap fill, maybe 270 or 265, 275, that kind of zone for a potential rejection. So if you're long, maybe trim some into there, into that equilibrium of the range. Interesting look though. Definitely responding well so far. So we'll see if it's going to reach up into that 265 gap that we mentioned and then kind of fall off from there. Meanwhile, CoreWeave is respecting the 78, starting to curl just a little. So I'm keeping an eye, but it's got to close candles over the moving averages to get actually interesting. Dell, XYZ, definitely, and Mara, three of the big winners here today. Not too shabby.
Yeah, RKLB is really respecting its support levels real well. Previous close, be mindful of that, traders, and then that 69 to 70 range. It looked like the accumulation zone. I mean, we can tell orders were there for accumulation just based on those wicks that came into that level support. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah, and Rocket Lab's interesting because the longer that this base builds out, the more I'm like second guessing how I feel about it. I think I'm still bullish. And I think it's just taking its time and it's going to keep on carving out an ascending triangle. I keep worrying that it's like the heaviness into this trend line means that it wants to break down. But if it can't, and if it can pop once more, I'd love it if it can sweep the high really quickly, just showing an incentive to break the range bullishly. Then it can come back down and it can start to coil in this corner here for like another week or so before really moving up. And the longer it does that, I think the more it's building up that support off of the daily previous swing high. back here. So just a lot of negotiation of this range. You can see the congestion there. But that's the area I'm looking for. The 70 to
Okay.
73 to get cleared.
Dell new highs, guys.
Bada bing, bada boom. I guess I got to get some high time frame levels because that thing's still
So
screaming. Oh, wow.
Dell
Such a
has
pretty daily chart, too. Man, I
it's
wish I
an
was.
8.5% short float on Dell. 8.5%.
I'll put some giddy up in your step there. So the big level, there's going to be sellers here, 142. They're going to step in 140
Yeah.
to 142.
Yep. Yep.
That's going to
Yep.
be the swing. It can definitely go higher, but there's got to be pressure release at some point. This is a big move, and that's the swing high. That's the target that they're hammering towards.
It kind of looks like head and shoulders that daily. But
You're saying in the base there before it just surged up here, or what time?
yeah. The
High
neckline
time.
110.
Yeah,
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 high
yeah.
time frame. High time frame, yeah, but
And I don't disagree. The only thing I'll say is that those head and shoulders are one of the least likely patterns to play out in terms of like statistical relevance. It's like 55 to 60%, which I mean, when they do play out, they're big explosive moves, right? But when they don't,
yeah.
they can just stall into this kind of neckline that everybody's assuming breaks, and then all of a sudden news
Accumulating
comes out.
shorts. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and
Yep.
then all of a sudden it flips the script there. So we also have this doom loop, as I call it, just the ultimate downtrend line catching all the points. And when this gets smashed through, very often it represents the end of a downtrend in
Huh.
whatever formation it is. Yeah, keep an eye on that. It's
Yeah, that's why I
pretty.
was curious on the short interest because we see that often too in the small caps. You have those patterns that develop and then they accumulate shorts. I mean, we kind of saw it with in it to a degree with BNAI. 20 was leveling and then it cracked under, but then popped right back up and squeezed out some shorts. So you get that. You certainly get that a lot,
Oh yeah,
oftentimes.
yeah. That's an interesting chart there. The BNAI is still looking like it might have some kick left. I don't know. This might be a done move in
Yeah,
limbo.
you see what I'm seeing? It was a different pattern. So on the daily, it's got a descending triangle towards that 20. 20's been a key
Yeah,
level, and then it will not stay heavy under it. It just accumulates shorts into the comfortable like area to short. We talked about that
right.
earlier on the call-in show. If the trade feels really comfortable, like oftentimes in the intraday space, it may not be the best trade.
Yeah, that's a great
It's the
point. So this
yeah.
false failed auction, right? It was a failed auction lower, and then they
Mhm.
whipped it back up, and they couldn't break that low. And it seems like either short stepped out, or more likely, I guess, bulls stepped in and started squeezing the shorts, and they got scared. And we'll see
Mhm.
if this actually squeezes or not, or if the shorts can hammer it back down. But it is notable that, like you said, when it's too comfortable here, when everybody's like, "Oh, this is so heavy," you might only get a little move.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're on the side of the majority, which is
Mhm.
not a great trade, right? Now you're
Yeah, yeah, unless it's working for you. If you got the momentum,
Yeah,
sure, don't
yes.
fade that. But if this isn't momentum, right? This is
I think
ambiguity.
I think we were highlighting some really important things earlier, how you were mentioning, like, yeah, it's okay to be on the side of the majority as long as you know that you're on the side of the majority. Essentially, you take the
Mhm.
predictable piece. How I and I you're a I think you're absolutely right, but as long as traders identify that, and so what happens is if you're gonna ride that wave, how I'll trade that is I'll ride the wave down real quick, like on
Mhm.
that ticker today. I what was it? INSP. I'll
Yeah,
ride some of that wave down, but it's essentially it invalidates immediately those some of those trades if it goes against me. I'll
yeah.
ride the momentum wave, but that trade for me, I'm getting out of it immediately if it goes against me because
So
otherwise, yeah,
so you're using your knowledge that, like, hey, this is kind of hot potato right here, so you're really
yeah,
ready to
yeah,
get out, and you're not going to be one of those people who it takes 5 minutes to make that decision. You get dragged, then you're in a really tough spot having to make a decision in pain. So you're on there ready to capture that move and let the dust settle. So I love that. It's all
yeah.
about the situational awareness there. That's great. Yeah, Mike can ride a wave.
You guys are too much fun.
Albert Einstein had a message. I feel like that's directed at me. I gotta clean up my shelves here. Albert Einstein, that's the man. Got most random stuff on your desk there. Yeah, absolutely. I got an assortment of of BS. I have a fidget spinner. Apparently, I'm 5 years old. So
Yeah,
no,
the
no
Scott
shade.
referencing Netflix again here. Yeah, with Netflix, we're seeing a little action. Steve, one of the most fascinating stories, which I need to dive into again here, but it was just Netflix and the Blockbuster story. You guys look into that when you get
Mm.
some time. It's a fascinating story. I bel
In terms of like major like industry change.
Missed opportunity, major missed opportunity.
Oh,
So
they could have bought them, couldn't they? Like
yeah,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah,
day?
yeah.
Wow. I bet that must be a hell of a chart watching the jaws close on those market caps
I
Whew.
know.
Every day and
Yeah.
then kicking themselves, punching air. It could have been us. It should have been me. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
And CoreWeave on its last legs as for the Bulls here, in my opinion. If it loses this little pop off this stop run fib, probably needs to air out into a new low, or at the very least take a plunge and really, really test this 90 level. So I am a little bit worried about how these data center names respond. Luckily, I don't have direct exposure outside those few Wolf shares, but this was a very, very highly anticipated setup, which seems to be testing a breakdown now. You could entertain maybe a really deep retest of this kind of pennant break there. But I think that we head bonked on the doom loop here. Yeah, we bonked there. Sometimes I like putting my downtrend line. I use the last green candle push up because often
Mhm.
it will open higher and then reject higher. But essentially, where it really found the first sellers was right on that last green day. So if I mark it there, then it shows this line has more relevance here, where again it tried to push above, closed right into it, then closed lower, back in the casket, so to speak, and now after hours back at the 91 and potentially testing some of these
Man,
upside lines.
speaking of back in the casket, Duolingo is headed straight there. $90. So you said this thing is you value it at 0. What's the
Uh,
analysis for you on it?
I'm being a little sassy. I don't think it'll
Oh,
go
okay.
zero anytime soon, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
going up anytime soon either. I
Yeah.
mean, this is
It's
like dire straits here. What I will say is this is where stocks that who's like me and says they're zeros, this is where they can recover. So a few areas of interest here. We had this IPO base range. So this was the stage one base that it broke out from, flipped, and never looked back. But excuse me. So now these areas are important because long-term investors who viewed this as a moonshot, they sure better have booked a bunch when it was a 5x. But now it's back here. They're just getting notifications. They're like, okay, this is back to my cost basis. This, probably was like 0.1% of my port. It turned into 0.5% of my port. I probably sold half of it. It's coming all the way back down. It's not going to be like a major position in anybody's really port at this point, unless they're psychos. But a lot of people now that's at the point of like, do I just toss this in the trash, or is there a chance that this rebases and in 5 years I can look and it'll be a three bagger again? That's contingent on whether AI completely just continues to erode their business model and their moat, or whether they can find a way to pivot. And that nobody can say that at this point. I'd say.
oh
What's
my
up?
oh, sorry. Oh, I'm just over here mumbling to myself. So
Yeah.
Mara, I saw Scott was like, I can't believe this is popping up like this. I checked the short interest on it. Take a guess, Steve.
28%.
Eh, yeah, you're close. 30.74.
30%. Okay, pretty close. Okay, yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
shorts, they finally had a reason to step out. It looks like, and now's the guys watch right now because remember I said those round numbers. So many people have been waiting to short Mara at 10. The question is, are they wrong? Is this the first time you shouldn't have shorted Mara on the first pop up to 10 like this? That's going to be the
Man.
where the rubber meets the road here, I think. And you can see just immediately there's going to be sellers. It's all about the battle that's occurring because we
Yeah.
just found the reinforcements just arrived for bulls out of nowhere. Boom, boom, boom. We have big numbers advantage up to this point. Now this is where the reinforcements have met the standing army, and it's all about
Yeah.
whether the new tides are strong enough or the new forces are strong enough to turn the tide, I should say. And so far, they're not giving up. We're going to put on a
That
1 minute for this because it's going to be a fun battle to watch, I think.
mhm.
So I
Man,
want to
that's a
watch
strong number. Good job. So what's your did you just
oh,
pull that number out of your hat, or you actually you
what,
kinda
10?
knew that was you will know Mara as far as the 28% you said, or you actually knew
No,
this was heavily shorted?
I just pulled that out of my ass. I just had to
Okay.
play it cool when I was pretty close. I just figured because Kevin, you kind of get a ballpark, right? Because you can kind of feel a 20 percenter, right? Because you'll pull it up
Yeah.
and you'll be like, I don't know if I can trade this, and then you'll be
Mhm.
like, oh, I got to look at the flow. Oh, well, that's why, right? So you kind of get a feel based on how they're moving. This is moving like one that has enough short interest that they're getting squeezed out repeatedly here on these surges up, and each time they're trying to new shorts are trying to hammer back in because they're like, this is on my short list and it's hot, it's up, you know,
Right,
this is on my
right.
short list and it's up and it's a piece of crap according to them. I don't know if it is or not. I don't care. And they're that's how they're looking at this. Every new high, they're like, can we just jam this
Right, right.
at this big level at 10? So that's going to be where I want to see. And I'm watching these short-term moving averages to just gauge the strength of these momentum buyers that are trying to just push the limits basically and just keep the bears on the
Yeah.
ropes.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
do look at this as kind of like it 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 can keep squeezing. How much is it up? 20%, 10%, 15%? Okay.
Yeah.
So it could keep backing them off at 30%, but I've seen so many times stocks at 25 to 30%. Either you get that squeeze or more often than not it traps a lot of bulls into thinking that's going to be a continuation move. And Mara could easily be trading back at $9 tomorrow. So that's the kind of game that I think
Right.
we play in, and I'm watching these moving averages to represent
Just
the strength and the resilience of these new bulls here in the face of this
it's
this
right
big
on the
force.
after hours trend that it developed. 10, of course, I agree with what Steve's saying. It's like we don't know entirely where this is going to be tomorrow, but this provided us a pretty predictable piece here, popping
Mhm.
up quickly like this towards 10 for this rejection. That 30 scares me. I do have a little. I got a hard rule. You heard it earlier, like over 20%. I'm kind of just watching, but 10 on the chart as well. Looking left, very tough. And of course, the big shiny number 1, 5, 10. These natural areas of resistance held up really well. Traders, please do one thing. If you hear anything tonight, don't put your stop right on the whole dollar of 10. We
Yeah.
see right there 10.03. I'm going to actually do a lesson on this here soon, but we see it all the time. You get those you get the pop like right above or below whole dollars. It's never wise. In fact, it is wise to ladder stops,
Yeah.
laddering stops above or below those areas, not your entire share size. Because how many times have we just top ticked or bottom ticked something? That's why laddering
Mhm.
never a bad idea.
And
What else
that's
are you seeing out there?
well, I just wanted to build off that
Yeah.
real quickly. That's such a how many times have your staggered stops gotten pressed and some of them get taken, but your general idea of the level of where stops should be was correct. So you thought that it was
Mhm.
going to be in this zone and you tried to put your stops staggered under that. It turned out to be a little bit overlapping your zone, but you weren't wrong. And those runners, they can often make up for those stops and then some.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just feels so much better to have a little piece on and say, hey, well, I didn't play it perfectly, but this goes in the mental models book of where I should be putting stops on a stock with X ATR. It moves this much per day. It has this short interest. You start to kind of hone in and build in the same way that like I've been trading options so long, I can roughly guess the IV of a stock just by looking at its ATR in the past couple weeks of trading. It's the same kind of thing where you'll start to just kind of dial it in intuitively, and then it's just I always look at it like you're preloading the RAM of your computer brain, right? You're putting all of this stuff from the parts where it has to, the GPU has to generate a process. Obviously, I don't know how computers work. What I do know is that there's like this short, like read only memory or whatever, where it's like, actually, I don't even. My whole point is like you can store it in this partition where it's easily accessible and you don't have to really think about it too much. And the
Mm,
more information that you have in there, just from seeing something and just building up that confidence, the faster you can act. And that's what really sets traders apart. There's a really cool statistic that professional traders, they make their decisions in an average of 2 to 5 seconds, and retail traders take like 15 to 20 seconds.
oh, you know what that is?
Mhm.
That's the paralysis by the analysis.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's what starts to you chip away at that, with just time in the market, just screen time. There's no substitute in my book, my opinion.
Mm,
It's
okay.
all about repetition, and of course, practicing in the right ways, and that's what we're here to try to help you do. Uh, but there's no substitute for that screen time, gotta say.
Amen.
Which is why you should always tune in to Trade the Pool every day, Monday through Thursday. We're here doing our best to help you guys out, and you guys help us out too. So it's a symbiotic relationship, and we're very grateful for all y'all.
I echo all that. Yeah, it's just this is a great community, and we're gonna the screen times absolutely. Experience will be the best teacher. We help try to lay out the blueprint though over at Trade the Pool to get you a jump start on your trading journey. The volatility just kind of died off a little bit. So now just kind of reviewing some of these tickers.
Yeah, I'm seeing that on everything. It's just settling. We're chilling. We're digesting, and we're trying to figure out mostly if Nvidia is going to die or not. It's going to keep rolling, or if it's going to catch. And so far, SPY not having a good time after hours. Nothing major, but just a slight little dip, and just probably an incentive to push a little bit lower and retest these key moving averages tomorrow. The 687.50 down to 686. That's the zone that I'm watching like a hawk on the indices on the daily there. So that's the name of the game for me. If we hold and turn that corner, I start putting more risk on. If we stop, well, then I have to be looking for places to hedge, and I have to start taking risk off at those spots too.
Very interesting. This is Caesar popped up. That was not a earnings, but just side note. They're
right?
Yeah, CZR is considering apparently reports suggesting the company is considering a sale by the Fertitta Entertainment.
Fertitta.
I've heard that name before, Fertitta Brothers. I think they were involved, with the UFC and all. I wonder if that could be completely unrelated. I don't know, but
it's making me hungry. I want a frittata.
Frittata.
Or maybe some Nelly Furtado, man eater. Absolute slap. All right, what else? What was I looking for on CZR? CZR, I wanted to pull up the daily chart there, or the monthly chart, and get some price action history, because I was thinking
Mike's chatty tonight.
Trend change. Mike's chatty. As opposed to usually.
Oh man, we had such a fun stream with you, Mike. That was such a great time.
That was a good time for sure. And look at this. There's the doom loop effect. So just could not break this downtrend until right now, and it surged on the daily into that 200. So that wasn't earnings. It actually bottomed on bad earnings, and now it is trying to break trend here on it seems like very bullish news. So this is one to keep an eye on long term, and it could put a bottom in for the sector as a whole. So you have CZR. You also have what is it? There's a higher quality one, MGM. I used to be in this one. Yeah, this one's holding up a lot nicer, and this is a nice base. So what do casinos move off of, Kevin? I guess they move off of consumer spending strength, traveling. What else? I don't really know. I got to think about that a little more. It's been a long time since.
Probably my blackjack play. They opened up a Caesars in Danville, Virginia, which I've gone to a couple times.
That's where they're getting their revenue from. Making it in this casino, you take it over to that casino, give it right back.
When the market's slow like today, dude, yeah, I'll go get my itch out. No, I'm just kidding. I do enjoy blackjack, but
blackjack's your game.
Yeah, I enjoy blackjack, but obviously I know the positive EV, unless you're single deck blackjack counting cards, you do get positive EV, in which they just kick you out. Like if you up and lower your bets, they'll kick you out. But
right, exactly. It seems like that's what they tell by the bet sizing, which is like, come on, that's like if they kick me out of the stock market because I'm using risk management. It's like, what in tarnation?
Exactly.
It's almost like this is rigged. It's almost like this deck is stacked against us. So yeah, save your gambling for this casino, because hey, we can define our risk a lot better than against the house, even though we are playing against a house. Got to remember that too.
Yeah, I'd rather play this casino where I'm getting paid. Got a payout today. We're rocking and rolling, guys. Getting paid. So join Trade the Pool. Get the money going. Limited risk for you.
Nothing like a payout day, baby. Best feeling in the world.
It really is. We put in the work.
There's the reward. 90 handles here on Duolingo. They're not getting paid. Nothing's heavy into into the deep support.
It did. It looks like it doesn't matter what news they came out with. They were
Nope.
gonna drop regardless and do it later.
Yeah, that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's we got to make some memes that you know, the Duolingo bird outside your window. Like, did you study your Spanish today? So
Yeah,
did did
yeah.
did you take a look at your books recently? Did you do your accounting, Duolingo? Something's wrong here. Somebody messed up. So yeah, this thing looks terrible to me. It looks like literally no juice, even on going down to the granular. The 1 minute, this 9 minute moving average is a brick wall. They're algorithmically selling this every single chance they get, even way down here. So no
Yeah.
touching in full effect on this guy, the abyss. Yeah, this thing, you stare long enough into the abyss, you end up a long-term investor, and it's
It looks like
not going to be fun.
Dell's probably our best earnings chart, really.
Seems like it.
And they got 140 is kind of tough there. It looks like they're kind of, if you zoom out on the chart, it's quite a pretty inverse head and shoulders
It
on
is,
Dell.
right, and dude, okay, so I love this. The dueling patterns, it's like dueling banjos, it's like, all right, which side is gonna win? And this is one that I love, taking a little bit of a risky biscuit on, so to speak, a stock like this, if I'd seen this, because so you have the higher time frame in, Head and Shoulders trying to play out, and then you have this lower time frame, you can call it a scallop bottom, you can call it an inverted Head and Shoulders, somewhere in there, I'm sure there is a complex one. Whatever you might see, it's definitely curling, right? It's definitely showing. And this is like a super. This seem when I tell people this, they're like, "This is what you do for a job." This is silly, but just literally paint by numbers, block out, take your trend lines, block out where the wicks are, find your trajectory. Find your trajectory. I know it seems silly, but when I'm done with this, you'll see what I'm talking about. So see, I'm just literally. Whoops. Give me my lines back. I'm painting the compression essentially from these points,
I see. Yeah.
and it's just a really good, quick visual way to kind of give you. Basically, it's do-it-yourself Bollinger Bands. But what you can see very easily is, okay, just no dice here. Okay, now we're starting to kind of breach this established trend, and this bottom trend. I love to see the curl like this, and most importantly is that this last one here. Whoops. This last one here is compressing along with this. So now we're finally getting compression for the first time in a while. See, we got the compression here, and that's when we kind of started to break trend and just curl out. So it's dueling patterns, this high time frame bearish that has a lower probability of playing out just by nature of statistics. These Head and Shoulders, often they are a false breakdown. And then you can start to see the newer contingency of buyers starting to really, really consider this along. And that's that accumulation versus distribution. And it's just a battle that needs a while to play out, and usually a binary catalyst like this to punch it through. So now, right back up at the neckline we mentioned, this is the area of interest, in any dips as the moving averages catch up in this kind of trajectory. You can look for dips into those. So that's kind of I guess dips off of this neckline down into there as the moving averages rise up like that, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, this is. I can see what you're saying as far as the bull and bear fight here, because it's when it's not entirely, everything's not entirely parallel. Like, it's not the most beautiful inverse head and shoulder you've ever seen. There might be a lump here or there. It's like bears or bulls essentially fake out breakouts on them. If you pull any of those charts up, traders, head and shoulders or inverse, otherwise, ascending triangle, any of them, they don't have to look as clean as you would expect, because they need to accumulate shorts or longs for that reversion to be more significant. Imagine on the break up, you're going to need some shorts. You're going to need that 30% like Mara, MARA, to get that explosive move.
And along
Same.
with that explosive move, Kevin, we're also going to be getting like more opportunities provided by that volatility. Which, if you're too dogmatic about a pattern, you might say, "Oh, it's invalidated." Or if you let it close a half an hour later and it wicks back up, you can see, like my favorite pennants, for example, my favorite bull flags are the ones that violate a very obvious trend line one time, and then close above it, because there's that juice that's collecting that power, like you're talking about. Meanwhile, collecting power, Duolingo,
Yeah.
the bulls have been getting backed off. The
Right.
bears have been collecting power. This is distribution, consolidation for further distribution here, unless we can see a sharp buyer step in and break that trend,
And,
break that pattern. But so
heart
far,
versus
more.
mind. What a pretty I mean, look, CRWV likely is gonna my guess would be she's gonna find her feet down and around here, but that was a really pretty kinda just dribble. I call these the dribble outs on CRWV. You got a little bit of that bearish flag. These are tricky because they tempt bulls into them.
Mhm.
If you draw that trend line, Steve, on the CRWV, what you'll see is an uptrend. But in
This one here?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And this is such a great example because yeah, this is what I don't like to see in a pennant where it hasn't really tested down here very much, right? It's had a few times where it tried to pop and found sellers, 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 and now it's
Mhm.
consolidating the angles up. So see this downward angle is it's essentially like this is like to me this looks like it's
I do
not
like
in
to
the
trade
proper
those, yeah.
angle where I'd like it to be like maybe more
They're one
I'm trying to redraw it.
they're one to one though, like that it's
It
like a
is.
symmetrical triangle, and you just need if it's gonna get upside, you need volume, if it's gonna get downside, you need lack of it, and literally, I will not have any bias, Steve. If volume comes in, I'll take the long up, if volume
Yep.
doesn't, it cracks. It's more like 50-50, um, but you just trade the chart and the volume's the key ingredient there.
I love it. I'm trying to articulate what it is about this because I've seen this so much, and to me, it always strikes me as bearish. But you're right; it is the same angle roughly, right? So one that always reminds me of is the BMNR daily chart. This one looks so similar to me. Let me pull up a daily and show you real quick because this one was like the mother of all compression patterns, and then it just failed so spectacularly. So you had that big downtrend line everybody's watching, and then you had this uptrend line that was
Oh,
holding,
yeah.
and then it would try to break it, and it looked like it was consolidating above it. But this one also has a
That's what
34
we were
degree down
just
angle.
talking about. They tried to trap bulls on a little bit of a breakout there, but it
Yep,
didn't
there.
happen.
And then look at this is so mean because I remembered it flagging right at the apex of this pennant. So it was like the last, compression before this thing breaks. And everybody was so sure it was going to break. I remember this day when it
Oh,
peaked over
man.
the 21. But if you really look at it holistically, what was price action like over the 21 previously? This is clearly like an attempt and a failure. This was an
Yep,
attempt and a
yep,
failure.
yep.
This was an attempt and a failure. Why are we bullish here? So
So pull up B-Fly,
oh,
BFLY. I traded this one today live this morning, on
yes.
Trade the Pull stream, and it was a really similar looking pattern earlier in the day, but it was a crack in lack of volume. That's just the lesson here I'd like to
Oh yeah, yeah,
mention.
yeah.
So you got the, yeah, is that it?
Or
Is that open? It had the crack happened around 11:30 AM.
you want a 1 minute chart here, probably.
Yeah, probably
All right.
1 minute from this morning. So what happened is
Oh
exactly
yeah,
that. It's a real similar kind of pattern, but this is small caps, of course, relative to CRWV. But it's just it's kind of squeezing tighter in a symmetrical triangle, and you don't get the volume. So for trying to extrapolate a predictable piece of the pie here, what you just that volume is what you're looking for because everyone recognizes the uptrend or the
yeah.
symmetrical triangle, but you just need lack of volume. I'm taking the short there, and that's what we did today on that crack.
This it's also I love when just one idea goes into another like this, just endless examples. But this candle right in the middle, which ended up being that higher low, or that lower high, I should say, in the start of the downtrend, to me, this was a really good example of a death candle, like a finishing type of move, where
Yeah, yeah.
it couldn't do the thing. It couldn't break above this, and it really did try. Look at that volume that came in there too. So high volume, and we looked above and rejected. So I think a lot of people would say they'd want this big sweep, and I agree that would have been nice. But this is also just, I mean, it's a sign of weakness, right? A lower high, and then big volume came in and broke this prior little structure, this prior little consolidation structure, this flag. Whoops. Uh, there we go. Nope. There we go. This kind of consolidation pattern, that little box flag, after we broke this pattern, the pennant, then tight consolidation, attempt to push up, then the high volume comes in. So for me, I look at exactly where the sell off happened. and I'd give it a little more room. So I would draw it like that probably. And then I would say, okay, that's my short box. That's where the short stepped in. I want to ride with them. And then I put my stop. I can either put it right over there. For me, I'd put it over the high of the day there. So just like that, I'd put the stop over there, and then I'd be getting filled right there, and then I'd get an ad right there, and I would feel like a king. But it's hard to recognize these in the moment. So that's what I'm working on, because it's clear in retrospect when you see that big volume. But being able to catch these in the moment, something that I'm getting better at. FCX is a good example yesterday. If I can brag just a tiny bit.
Oh, yeah, dude. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it.
All right. I will indeed. So we had the pre-market highs here. I saw the relative strength in here. I bought on this break of structure here. When we surged up, I recognized same thing we were talking about. I forget on which chart. I think it was SPY, that little buy stick that ended up, finding some traction at the very least. So this right here, I recognized was the buy stick. It tested this as it was coiling in here. I was accumulating a little bit in here with the target of this high of day. We could not get the high of day. The first was this first target was this swing high of the previous high. So I had two levels of interest here, and then one more right at the 70 handle. So I was thinking, which one of these do I sell at? And my brain wanted the 70. And I thought probably a lot of people's brains wanted the 70. So I'm going to be ready for if they don't offer that and they just offer either this or this. So they offered this, and I got a little bit scared. And I said, okay, if we lose this low, I got to take the small win from here. And that's still a small win, but I'm not going to get dragged. Because then the expectation would be a W pattern like this, and then coming back down there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be caught up in that and have it take a lot longer to play out. So came down here, it held. This was also scary, but I just had to trust the system. I said, hey, the buyer was down here. This is a slow drift. So as long as this buyer is real, I wanted to see it higher than this low. And when I saw this response, that kept me in. But now I'm getting kind of sweated, right? I'm like, clearly there is selling pressure to some degree. I just don't think it's done yet. So this was the reason why I was so willing to just take the money. I saw here, and it seemed good still here. And then this seemed good, but it couldn't close this candle. So I was already on edge. We had already kind of hit the morning pre-market there, and we couldn't surge through it, but we were trading into the block, like so close, the block where it rejected, like literally the one candle.
I like that you work the blocks and not just a specific, like on the penny, level.
It's just a matter. It's a matter.
That's how the best traders do it. Yeah.
It's like you're talking about, don't put your stop right at the dollar sign because they like to swoop it. Well, a lot of times if the momentum, if the crowd is on the bullish side, then they're going to do the opposite. They're going to, I call it ole, right? They're going to get you a few cents away. And then when it pulls back, you're not going to be fast to get out because you're thinking, well, surely it'll push once more to get the target. We're so close. But then we got the death candle right here. And it wasn't even high volume, but it still broke the structure. So this other zone that I had, that previous low, and I closed it the second it went under there. And I lost 10% on the contract there. But by the end of the day, it would have been 40%. Then by the next day, it would have been, I think, 60%. And it would have been a psychological battle for me in this whole time, But just this was the place of least friction, whereas like I can feel good about this close, and this is enough that even if it rips back up, I could look at this chart again and go, well, I see why I was nervous, and that's fine, So sorry to ramble there, but that was probably my best trade of the week. All right.
Guys, we're heading towards the end here, and probably the two best ones, Steve, that I'm seeing that held up were Dell and Rocket. RKT's at highs right now.
Is it RKT or RXT? Which one is this?
RKT.
RKT. Oh, good for them. All right, nice. Yep. So that's a nice move there. I think on a higher time frame chart, that kind of saved a potentially sketchy pattern here. Well, on a high time frame, this is still so constructive. Just a little yeehaws up at the top. But if it stabilizes the bottom of the range each time, why can't it test it again?
Yeah.
Not too bad on the weekly there. Nice reclaim of the
1920s look good risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So good look here. Look for this one to keep going in the next couple weeks. I think that as long as it holds 1890 to 19 to 1950 there. Nice little ribbon of moving averages to play off of. Good look. All right, Kevin. Yeah, not a bad batch here. We got to talk about a lot of
Yeah.
things. One more thing, real quick. The Duolingo, just keep an eye. This is an area of interest now. So they did a failed auction below where it looked like death and destruction, and then they pop it back above the neckline. So just entertain the possibility that it might be done for today, and you can look for a mean reversion sell, maybe up at the 95. At the 100 would be nice. That'd be a 50% retrace from the 120 sell, and that would be the round number there. So if we get Duolingo 100, I might be a short. I might be in that short with whoever's joining. All right, that's all I got here. Anything else to wrap up, Kev?
Guys, I'll be live tomorrow on my channel. It's the Kevin Avery Green Team in the morning. So jump on over there if you want to keep the action party going. Friday, every day I'm live around 9 a.m. And then outside of that, was this the last earnings stream?
It's the last one. It's the last one for now, at least. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I had a real fun month, Kevin. It was really good getting to know you
Man,
better, knowing
I
your trading style more, and just hanging out. So hopefully we get a chance to do some more of these in the future or something similar. If you guys like it in the chat, definitely let us know. We're always looking for your feedback on what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what you guys want to see. So, Mike, it's not just you. A lot of us have had a rough month. I had an amazing January, gave back half of my gains in February, just starting to get back on that positive equity curve. So stay the course. This has been a terrible month or two for a lot of systems traders, a lot of swing traders, momentum traders, breakout traders. So we will get our time in the sun again. We just got to play what the market gives us. That's all I
Yeah,
got.
very well said. It's been a great month, Steve. As far as the mental tuition, I guess you can say, just learning a lot as well from you in these earnings streams. It's been such a good time. This is your bread and butter. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with myself and the other viewers. But traders, yeah, Steve and traders, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys. If there's anything you ever need, feel free to reach out. Always happy to help.
Absolutely. So I'll just wrap up real quick with the plug. If you like us and you want to know where to find us, you can find me on Twitter at Steve Teilmann, SteveTeilmann. In my Discord or Twitter bio, there's my Discord community, totally free to join. Come on in. We have some amazing traders there. And yeah, Kevin, do you want to plug your anything you want as
Mr.
well
Joe
as
did that, and
okay.
Florida Joe, he's the best. He's the absolute best. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. And guys, yeah, join the Trade the Pool Discord if you haven't already as well. The watch list all gets sent out there, and likewise will be done in the morning. But keep it safe, guys. Keep it safe. If it's been a rough month or few weeks, just hey, size down. If
Mhm.
you're not seeing your pocket ace setup, don't size, don't go all in on 7-2 offsuit. 7-2 offsuit's never a good one to go all in.
Never a good idea. Absolutely. And on that, I think that's a great note to close it on. Thanks again, guys. We will see you on the flippy flop. Scott, oh yeah, real quick before I head off, I will let me get you a fresh link just in case that one might have expired. So let me do that for you right now. I'll post that in chat if anybody wants to join. Yeah, let's get the fresh link.
Mike, what you got to be like a typing expert. What are your words per minute over there, Mike? You working like 100 plus?
There you go, guys. There's the Discord handle. It's my old Twitter handle of Justy Trades. That'll change eventually when we get more professional. But we got some real killers in there. Amazing fundamental analysis. There you go, analysts. Amazing intraday traders as well. We have a lot of fun. So come join. Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you especially, Kev. It's always so much fun hanging out with you.
Yeah. Likewise, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right, guys.
See you in the morning.
Sounds good. Take it easy.